Hey guys, this is Jason Law and my co-host Rich, and we're in Victory Brand Studios. We've got Yoshi with us again, and we're going to talk about the Texas mall shooting.
It's not always fun and games for first responders.
05 Central, you show me in pursuit.
But sometimes it is.
Oh my God, he's not wearing pants again.
Sometimes it's dangerous.
Flipping around, look out, look out, look out.
Sometimes it's not.
Antler Boulevard for a snake in a house.
And sometimes it's just plain stupid.
Chihuahua in his lap on a lawnmower. You'd be heavily
This
shot.
is the stupid side of first response.
Dispatch, do I really have to go to that?
This is Code 0.5.
Come in 0.5.
Okay, guys, once again, we had some moron running around with a weapon, and then he got, what do you call that? Whenever somebody got his fade ran or whatever.
Oh yeah, they ran the shit out of his fade.
Here's the title of this article that I'm going to read, and it's from the Daily Mail. It says, this is quoted as saying, "I need everybody I got." It says, hero cop who took down Texas mall shooter made frantic call for backup moments before shooting dead the AR-15 armed gunman who killed 8, including children. Then I guess they ended up raiding his home later. But anyway, it says a hero cop who took down the Texas mall shooter made a frantic call for backup. I didn't listen to it. I don't know if it's frantic or not. I don't even know why they're saying that. But it says children were among those who were killed in the bloodbath outside of H&M and Allen Premium Outlets in Allen, Texas at 3:36 p.m. on Saturday. Allen, Texas. Where is that in relations to Dallas?
I don't think it's very far away. I think it's essentially be like a suburb.
Probably, yeah. The shooter was, it says, now named as 33-year-old who gives a shit, was killed by an unidentified cop who was on the scene for an unrelated call. Damn, he got lucky being there for that. But rushed over when he heard the gunshots outside the H&M. Says new audio reveals how the officer made a frantic phone call begging for his colleagues to join him. And it says you can hear him on the radio saying, "I need everybody I got." That's not begging.
No, no.
He doesn't say, "Please send," he just says, "I need that's what I would say.
Yeah.
Send me everyone you got."
Mm-hmm.
And it says, then the officer bravely ran towards the active shooter who was armed with 60 rounds of ammunition and had shot over a dozen people by this point. And it says when he ran towards him, he killed him. It says about 2 minutes after first calling for backup, the cop said, "I got him down." Minutes later, another voice is heard on the radio saying, "We got victims. I need an ambulance." So he hears it, immediately gets on his phone, and then 2 minutes later, he puts a fucking stop to it. And see, and you'll hear all about this shooting and all that kind of stuff. That guy that went in there and put an end to it. What is it they say? You can't have bravery without fear.
Yeah.
He probably had both, but I mean, he's got it. How brave can you be to go in there and risk your life to save all these people who you don't even know who they are?
Yeah.
Says the FBI and the police raided the dead suspect's Dallas home following the massacre and requested a translator to speak with the family. Neighbors say they often saw him wearing a security guard type uniform, but he was very quiet and had very unusual behaviors. And he drove a Dodge Charger, which was seen at the scene and was often parked outside his home. And that's pretty much the end of it.
Yeah. Did you say where this happened at?
It said Allen, Texas.
Yeah, Allen Premium Outlets. It's about 25 miles north of Dallas. So I've actually been there.
Oh, that's the freaking outlet mall, then, isn't it?
When I go down to visit my buddy down in Dallas, I usually stop there and pick him up something
Yeah.
from there. So I've been there and walked
Been there
around. It's a
before.
pretty big open space.
There's the Nike store down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Says here the Allen fire chief confirmed that 7 people died at the scene, including, who cares about the gunman? And then a further 2 victims died at the hospital. 3 of the wounded were in critical condition in the evening. 4 were stable. Dallas Media Group. It doesn't really talk about the victims.
They may still be trying to line everything out.
Yeah, because this was recent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, May 6th, yesterday, right?
Oh, yeah, shit. I didn't know it was that damn
Yeah, it was
recent.
yesterday.
Yeah, that dude, there's some stuff going on. I guess there's some speculation that he was tied in with some gangs or something else, something like that. I think I sent you that article.
Yeah, I remember you sending that to me.
Yeah, it said he was the article said he was like a neo-Nazi sympathizer, and when they gunned him down, they looked at him. I guess he had some kind of right-wing death squad patch that he was wearing.
That's weird. A right wing, but then they say he was a neo-Nazi.
Sympathizer, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But, okay. I'm thinking of something else.
But I know, like, I guess they said that he had an AR-15, which is, you know, that's one thing. But they were also talking about, I guess he was wearing body armor too.
And a handgun, yeah.
And he had a handgun.
Yeah. They checked his car. They found a whole lot more ammo, I guess, and another weapon in there as well.
See, that's what people get, like, they get upset, you know, coming out and us having plates and having everything, you know what I'm saying? I mean, look at what we're up against. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got dudes running around with freaking switches on Glocks, and, you know, like, if you don't know what that is, it's a deal that you can actually put on a Glock handgun that will make it automatic. The fire rate will be automatic, and that's on a pistol. You know, so I mean, if somebody really wants to, they can find a way to hurt people.
Yeah, no matter what it is.
Yeah.
And you know, in Texas, I'm surprised that this shooting went on for that long.
Mm-hmm. With that many people.
Because what is that? You guys watch Family Guy?
No.
Yeah.
Did you see the episode where they moved to Texas for a little while?
I don't know if I saw that one.
Well, they moved to Texas, and then Brian, the dog, goes into the liquor store and buys a bottle of whiskey. And he sets the whiskey. He goes up there and says, "I need a bottle of whiskey." So the owner there sets the bottle of whiskey down. Then he sets a handgun down. And he goes, "Whoa, what is that?" And he was like, "Oh, man, you get a free handgun with every bottle of whiskey." It's like, man, everybody's got guns in Texas.
Mm-hmm. Guns got guns in Texas.
It's like, man, you thought that would have been stopped a lot sooner than that and not by a cop. Yeah, so what was that you found? I know you said the thing about the tattoos and all that, but I can't remember if this article said it or not, but didn't this guy have on like ballistic armor and shit?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they were saying he was pretty well set up. See, he's wearing body armor with gang tattoo on his hand. See if I can find that. See if I can find that article. I don't know if he was, what actual gang that was he was affiliated.
And then in this article I read, they said that he was armed with 60 bullets. And it's like, that's it?
No. Trying to see.
Because if you think about it, in that AR, if he's got a 30-round magazine.
Yeah, that's 90 there.
I mean, and
Another
then he's got a spare.
Yeah.
So if he's got, that's all he had?
Well, what was he going to do? Just shoot everybody down, go back to the car, and restock real fast?
I guess. I mean,
what is your thought process in that? That don't make no sense to me.
I mean, he had to. Okay, here's where it goes: is he's not all right upstairs because nobody, wants to hurt people. But then he knew he was going to go in there and it was going to be over with. Because if I go in there and do that, then I'm going to be thinking, okay, when the cops show up, I'm going to need like 500 million rounds to make it out of this sucker.
Oh, yeah. So they're saying that he is possibly cartel affiliated because he had a prison gang tattoo on his hand that belonged to some kind of cartel or gang called the Tango Blast. So they're thinking he might be affiliated there. Could be a cartel member, but I don't know. Like they said, he was wearing security, so he had a job in security, so he would have had some type of background check done in order to be in that position. And if you're running around with gang tattoos on your hands, that don't add up. What was he security for?
Yeah, there's no telling. It could have been some little rinky-dink fly-by-night security company. Or he could have just been saying that shit. Because the cartel could be funding everything that he's doing. And it's like, look, just when you get up in the mornings, we need you to leave around like 7:30 and then don't come home till 5. And if people ask you what you do for a living, just tell them you're a security guard. You don't have to tell them where it's at, because you can be vague on that. You're like, oh, well, they move us around to different places. We could be working here one day and then there. And
So there was a picture of his hand was shared on Twitter. Social media users spotted that he had the tattoo on his hand. Several said that it is a Texas prison gang. And then there's a guy that said, as a former Texas State Corrections officer, I noticed the shooter has a Dallas, Texas logo, which is common for Texas TDCJ prison gang. That's possibly a sign something is very wrong, and this might be cartel affiliated. The Texas shooter is either a gang member or a cartel member or both. He was going to get his hands on whatever weapons he wanted, regardless of gun laws. Outlaws don't follow laws. That's the point. Strict gun laws would just put residents at a disadvantage. So they're trying to claim too he might be MS-13, but...
Well, when I was working corrections, I saw that Dallas Star. I mean, it's prevalent here in Oklahoma as well.
yeah.
This one is
But like you were saying, I mean, just be better off, for every citizen to have a gun. I don't think anybody should be infringed on that right.
Yeah, you got to be able to protect yourself.
it didn't.
And then
Yeah.
here, recently the news stories we keep hearing, and like the agents I've talked to and all that, and they tell you these stories, and I'm like, is it really that easy for people to cross the border and stuff illegally and do whatever? And they're like, yeah. Because they were telling me this story about this dude that the cartel got him a work permit. And they said, this is what you do. You leave the United States or wherever it was, either the United States or Mexico, one of them. You've got this work permit. You leave and cross the border. Do not, I don't care what you do during that time, but you do not cross back for 8 hours. After an 8-hour period has gone by, then you cross back. Said whenever the agents at the border start talking to you and by your first name, call us back. And they said like 2 months later, he would get to the border and these people would be like, hey, whatever. Hey, Tom. And then they just wave him through. When that started happening, then he called them. So then at that point, they started pushing drugs and money and all kinds of stuff through because they weren't stopping him anymore. They're like, oh, he's just a good old guy or whatever. I mean, they're not stupid.
Yeah, no.
So, I mean, he could be going down to Mexico getting all these illegal firearms or fentanyl or whatever, and then basically walking it across the border with it in his hands, waving it at everybody, and then he's going right through.
I don't know. It's a bad problem, man.
And then everybody pretends like it doesn't exist.
Yeah, they got a lot of offenders down there that aren't even in our database that get across that, start doing things. But I mean, that's the problem is like we got that going on and we can't even deal with our own offenders here. There was the deal that happened up north too. And that dude was an offender. You know what I mean? Like we can't even deal with it within our own.
Oh, that dude that killed that whole family and stuff, and then killed himself or whatever.
Bastard. Yeah. So I'm saying, I mean, like, I don't know. We need to focus on our own problems before we start trying to take on everybody else's. Yeah.
And like the South, we've got to secure that border because, ever since the last president got out, the wall stopped, the security became laxed. And it's crazy because I go to these classes and they're like, yeah, we've got this huge influx of illegal drugs and everything just coming through now. And it's harder to get it because our newly elected president is like, I don't give a shit. Where the last one was like, no, we need to be secure. We need to look after ourselves. And this one here doesn't give a shit. Uh-oh. We might be getting some enemies on the show.
I don't know, man. And part I can see is like being able to give the opportunity to the good people to be able to work in healthcare and have the things that they need to be able to survive and all that. But then you're also opening it up to the ones that are trying to exploit it, which is the same for any argument. It's like you want to take away guns. They need to be done. We don't need guns. All you're doing is taking that away from the decent people. You know what I'm saying? It's not their fault that this dude went and pulled that crap.
Yeah.
I'm saying, so like, these are problems that, I don't know, they're beyond me.
It'll probably never get solved.
Unfortunately. Something's got to happen.
We'll have more coming up on Code 0.5.
If you're looking for a political podcast that goes beyond the headlines, check out the Beltway Briefing. I'm Howard Schweitzer, CEO of Cozen O'Connor Public Strategies. Every week on the Beltway Briefing, our team of former Republican and Democratic presidential appointees, Capitol Hill veterans, and political advocates shares behind-the-scenes perspective that cuts through the noise. If you want the inside scoop, subscribe now to the Beltway Briefing here or wherever you get your podcasts.
And then like all the people that are coming up and crossing the border, I don't care. If you want to come live here, do it. You're supposed to become a citizen and all that and live your life. And I hope you have the best life. But if you're coming up here doing shit you're not supposed to or making things worse for us, then you can stay the hell down there where you were. Yeah. And I watched some video here recently of how, and I didn't know this, Cuba and Florida are only like 90 miles apart. I was watching this video where I guess that area is watched pretty good for boats and stuff coming in. But I guess they'll also take those boats and go south and come into the southern part of Mexico. And then they'll walk all the way up or drive or whatever up Mexico and get into the country. And have you ever
I wouldn't
looked into Cuba? I mean, their inflation and stuff is outrageous. There's a shortage on medicine and food, and I don't blame them wanting to get away.
Well, they got a massive freaking influx of la cocaína, though, man. They say that stuff washes up on the beach like $1 million will just wash up on the beach, man. You're walking down trying to find a seashell, and you find a whole pack chilling right there. It's like.
Wasn't there some guy in Florida that like a shit ton of cocaine washed up? And I think he took it and tried to sell it or something. And the cartel figured out who it was.
I feel like I remember hearing about this. This was a few years ago now, wasn't it?
Yeah. And like the cartel figured out who it was. They got their drugs. And I guess, I don't know if they did something to him or he had to pay him for it or what.
You can give us this back or we will, you ever seen that?
Murk you and your whole family.
Yeah. Have you ever seen Scarface? The chainsaw scene?
No, actually, I've never seen Scarface.
Oh, that's
I've never
awesome.
seen the end.
And they got the turtles, sea turtles getting caught up, moving weight.
What?
Yeah, you've never seen the sea turtles with freaking bundles of cocaine?
Are you serious?
Yeah. Yeah, hang on a minute.
So, like, U.S. Customs going to be checking turtles now?
Sea turtles now.
Oh, what's that other movie? You said Scarface. What's the other? The Godfather?
Yeah.
I've never seen that either.
Never seen The Godfather?
Oh, that's a little before my time, though, too.
Wow.
Like everybody talks about how The Godfather is a great movie and stuff. I've just never seen it.
All I ever heard was that the third one was just a waste of time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They were just trying to capitalize on it.
Yeah, I've never seen any of them. There's going to be people commenting on this being like, what? You've never seen The Godfather?
Oh, for some reason you got me thinking about Cocaine Bear now. I haven't seen that.
Oh, yeah, I want to see that.
U.S. Coast Guard rescued a sea turtle entangled in bundles of cocaine off the coast of Florida. And then dude said, LOL, that turtle was moving weight, and hit the Coast Guard with, I just got tangled up. Legend.
Dang, he had a bunch.
Jeez.
Sea turtles was on it. He's living that life, though.
Mansion under the sea. That's what I'm talking about.
Hey, I don't know what's going on. Oh, holy crap. I've got a story for you.
You know what that makes sense, though? Because you
What?
know how they say they're always finding, like, sea turtles with straws in their nose?
Mhm.
Well, I mean, if there's that much floating around, you know what I'm saying?
They just put them in there.
What
so
do you expect them to do?
You're mentioning all these drugs. I got a call here recently, and I almost like had a fight with the paramedics.
What?
It wasn't really a fight. I guess it was a disagreement.
Don't pull a Delta 606 now.
This woman calls in something and says, like, there's a piece of metal that was in her chest and it's now working her way up to her throat. So they asked me to go out there with them. Well, I get there and she says she lives in a trailer on the backside of this property. Well, I see, the ambulance, but there's no medics around. And I'm like, where the hell are these people? I walk around and I finally find them.
Mm-hmm.
One of them's inside talking to this girl and the other one's outside. I'm like, hey, what's going on? And she's like, I have no idea, but she's got an altered state of mind and all this. She goes, but she's coming with us. She needs to get checked out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I walk around there with her and I'm standing there watching, and the girl and the other medic come walking out of this like fifth wheel trailer.
Mm-hmm.
When she comes walking out, she's wearing a t-shirt that comes about to her waistline, and that's it.
Ooh.
She's got no underwear on, no shorts, shoes, nothing. That's it. And I'm like, oh, hell no. Well, she starts like running from him. And I'm just standing there. I'm like, I ain't chasing her. I don't care what's going on. This ain't happening.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the guy comes out of there and he's like, look, he goes, I'm not chasing her. She said she was going to come with us, but then when we came outside and she saw the ambulance, she just takes off. He goes, I'm not going to do this. I'm not chasing after her. And I was like, I don't know why you're telling me, because I ain't chasing her either.
Right.
I was like, from what this old boy was saying, she's been smoking weed and drinking wine, and she's just doing that in her house. She ain't doing nothing illegal. I'm not messing with her.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, man, but she really needs to go with us. And I was like, that sounds like a you problem.
Yeah.
Well, they finally get her to slow down, okay? And she's running all around you see her damn ass cheeks and everything running around. They finally get her to calm down. We find out later that she does have mental health problems too. And then there's alcohol and drugs on board. So you know how that works.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy comes out that like lives with her or something. And he told me, he's like, I've known her for 7 years. And he goes, like, when I met her, like 2 years later, she became homeless.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, I invited her to stay here till she could find a place to stay. And then she just been here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay. Well, he goes in the house and he gets I thought they were shorts, but it was like a jean skirt.
Okay.
And has her put them on. Well, she's facing me while she's stepping into them and stuff. And I'm not close. She's like 30 yards away from me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, thank God she's putting clothes on. It's like, I don't want to have to see that crap anymore. Well, after she puts on this jean skirt, skorts are they might have been used to be skorts. Isn't that the shorts that look like a skirt or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever they were. She gets it put on and then buttoned up. She goes to walk back to the ambulance, and when she turns, the ass is tore out of these jeans, and I can see her butt again. I'm like, why the hell did you even put clothes on?
So how long is it going to be before you eat Arby's?
Oh, man. I won't even think about that.
Yeah.
No, you couldn't. She was at a distance far enough that I was like, when I first saw her, I was like, oh, God, and I just turn away.
Are we regular roast beef here, or are we talking
I have no idea.
big Montana type
Dude,
situation?
My wife listens to this.
I
wasn't that observant in that situation.
that's all I was trying to see is what.
The double beef and cheddar.
Oh, and cheddar, bro. And cheddar.
Man, y'all stop. I like Arby's.
Did. And cheddar.
Get a couple curly fries with the meal. Be
Yeah.
good.
No, there would have been no way.
And that was the enjoyment of when I would go over to my wife's work every now and then, is that there's an Arby's on the way.
Oh, I bet.
Not no more.
I bet.
So, yeah, I guarantee you they were going to want me to be chasing that woman, and that wasn't happening.
Nope. I don't do that.
So I guess you've got the story of chasing a naked guy.
Well, I've had to deal with, and I think I told it a while back. I had the same thing. I got a call about a disturbance.
The one where you had to help us or whatever?
No.
Oh, this is different.
Yeah, she was 88. And she was drunk, bad drunk.
Mm.
And she's banging on the door, trying to get them to let her in. They didn't know this lady from Adam. So they call, and I get over there, and when I get there, I can see something kind of moving, and I'm walking up on it, and she's just in a t-shirt, and it wasn't like an extra large t-shirt, same kind of situation. You know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, turn around, place your hands behind your back. And she's like, okay. And she spins around and she hits the ground. And needless to say, it was not very cool. But anyway, so I was trying
And when
to.
this is happening, you're like, please have my camera running.
So I'm like, battling this out. And luckily, the lady, it was an older lady that had called, and she gave me a sheet to wrap her up in, so I got her set back there. Well, I get in the car and I'm taking this for public intox. And I was like, yo, I'm going to need a female jailer to come meet me out in the Sallyport when we get there. And of course, one of your lieutenants was listening to me, and he just so happened to be dropping off. Well, he hung out about the time I got up there, and he comes walking out and he's like, what are you doing?
Oh,
I was like,
okay.
I was like, did they get a jailer out here, a female? And he's like, what for? And I was like, cuz. And he's familiar with her because he knew her from when he was down here. And he's like, you don't need no jailer for that. Come on, let's get her out and get her in here. And he opened that back door and he looked down, and that sheet had come off and she was slumped over. And he's like, yeah, nope, and slammed the door. He's like, can we get a female out here? We're gonna need somebody over here.
Yeah, not dealing with this.
Yeah, not doing
I told you, man. I told you.
it. Yeah, that was.
My only experience with naked people was when I was still working corrections. I hadn't become a cop yet. And
What are you talking about? When you're in corrections, according to Renix, you're more than a cop.
Yeah,
I don't want to get started with that. But anyways, so we ended up having to do an extraction on this guy who had just killed a guy in his unit.
uh-oh.
Right. And so he'd gotten put back in the cell, and they were going to take him out and put him in seg.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So he doesn't want to come out. So we're sitting there for about half an hour trying to get him like, hey, cuff up, come to the the Sallyport and cuff up. And put your hands to the beanhole. He didn't want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So we close it up. Done sprayed him about 3 times. And we're finally like, all right, let's get the SORT team in here and extract him. So the SORT team lines up, gets ready to go in. They go in, and he had stripped down naked and covered himself in his own poop.
God,
No.
Slippery, sliding, everything. Oh, it was bad. Everyone was falling over each other.
Ugh.
It was bad. So they finally get him cuffed up, and they're walking him through the unit. And he's hooting and hollering, whoop, whoop, all that, going through the unit. It was a bad sight. White boy, covered in poop. It was a pretty graphic sight. But
Good God.
didn't want to deal with that ever again.
The smell.
It was bad. It was bad.
And FYI, I think they're taking applications in corrections.
They would be after that, because there ain't no way. Ain't no way.
All right, well, we're coming to the end. I think we're going to get off here.
I guess so.
Yeah, I'm shutting y'all down.
No.
You have been listening to Code 0.5, the lighter side of police work. If you have ideas or suggestions for our show, we'd love to hear from you. Visit our website at code05.co. That's code05.co. And please consider making a donation at our Patreon page, patreon.com/code05. Be sure to use the digits 05. Thanks for listening to Code 0.5.